Welcome to the Education Application Process video. This video will show you the programs offered through education and will go step by step through the application process. What education programs do you offer? Higher education. This grant allows students to receive funding for a limited number of credits to attain their educational goals. Grant awards are based on standard school expenses as determined by the individual college or university and varies based on the level of education you are pursuing. Lifetime Basic Education. Lifetime Basic Education provides assistance with individual courses at accredited certified institutions. It covers tuition, books, and required fees only and is limited to $1,000 per course for a lifetime maximum of 10 courses. Student Activities. Student Activities provides assistance for expenses related to extracurricular activities such as sports or band. The youth must be enrolled in K-12 or homeschooled. Examples of expenses include music fees, athletic shoes and equipment, student fees, and ACT or SAT testing. To be eligible for any of our education programs, you must be an enrolled member of the Stockbridge-Munsee community. In addition, for higher education, you must have a high school diploma, HSED, GED, or alternative learning diploma. You must be accepted into a diploma or degree-seeking program at an accredited, not-for-profit college, university, or vocational college within the United States. For-profit schools are only funded for doctorate degree-seeking students due to the limited availability of doctorate programs. How do I apply? To apply for Lifetime Basic Education, you must fill out the Lifetime Basic Education application, provide a copy of your tribal enrollment card, and provide required supporting documentation such as a copy of your registration or invoice. To apply for student activities, you must fill out the student activities application, provide a copy of your tribal enrollment card, and provide required supporting documentation such as receipts and proof of registration or eligibility. Please note that the request must be submitted within 30 days. Taxes are not covered in the cost, only the item itself. To fill out the Lifetime Basic Education application, start by filling in the academic year and your basic information. Next, provide the institution's information and provide course information. Finally, authorize your application with a signature and date. It's important to note that your application is not complete without supporting documentation. Required documentation includes a copy of your tribal enrollment card and a copy of your registration with the institution or an invoice from the institution. For student activities, start by filling out the student activities application. You will provide the student's basic information and select the activity you are applying for assistance with. The parent or guardian will certify the application with a signature and date. Next, a school or program representative will have to complete the activity information section of the form and authorize it with their signature. Be sure to include supporting documentation with your application. Required supporting documentation includes a copy of your tribal enrollment card and any relevant documents such as coordinating receipts, proof of registration, or proof of eligibility. Please note that the request must be submitted within 30 days. Taxes are not covered in the cost, only the cost of the item itself. As a federally recognized tribe, we are tax exempt and can order the items on your behalf at your request. To apply for the higher education grant, be sure to follow the application checklist on the left. To start, you will need to fill out the Education and Career Services application. Next, you will complete sections 1 and 2 of the Wisconsin Indian Student Assistance Grant application for either a new or continuing student, depending on your status as a student. Additionally, you will need to complete an academic development plan and provide the following signed forms: the Higher Education Acknowledgement Form, Funding Acceptance Form, and Statement of Privacy and Release of Information Form. You may want to fill out and sign an authorization for direct deposit form. This is optional but encouraged. Finally, you will need to submit all required supporting documentation. We will now go over the forms and how to properly fill them out. The higher education application process starts by filling out the Education and Career Services application. The application asks for basic information like your name, address, contact information, and the program or programs you're interested in applying for. Next, the application requires personal data, such as your tribal affiliation employment status, and education level. Finally, you will certify your application with a signature and date. In addition to the application, you will need to fill out and sign the following forms, as well as provide supporting documentation. Next, you will need to fill out the Wisconsin Student Assistance Grant application. Depending on your student status, you will either fill out the form for a new student or continuing student. For the new student form, fill out the student section in its entirety and authorize it with a signature and date. The second section is the Tribal BIA Office section. This section is to be filled out by the Tribal Enrollment Office. It is the student's responsibility to get this section of the form filled out and certified with a signature. Do not fill out the final section. That is for the Student Financial Aid Office to complete. For the continuing student form, complete the student section of the form. Do not fill out the remainder of the form. That is for the Student Financial Aid Office to complete. The next step to filling out your higher education application is to fill out your academic development plan. The first section asks for your academic year in which you're applying and basic information such as your name and the college or university you will be attending. You will then be required to enter your course information including course number and name, the number of credits, beginning and end date, and whether the class is in person or online. It is important that you complete the entire section accurately, so make sure you double check. Finally, you will sign and date the academic development plan. A school counselor or advisor is required to sign and date, confirming that your course information is accurate. The next step is to complete all of the following forms. The following forms all require signatures. The Higher Education Acknowledgement Form requires that you print your name at the top and authorize it with a signature and date. The Funding Acceptance Agreement requires initials at each section and a signature and date at the bottom. Finally, the Statement of Privacy and Release of Information form needs to be certified with a signature and date. The Authorization Agreement for direct deposits is entirely optional, but is encouraged. To fill out the Authorization Agreement for direct deposit, the first section asks for basic information like your name and address. The next section requires your banking information such as account type, bank name, and routing number. Finally, certify the form with your signature and date. Do not fill out the bottom section of the form. That is for accounting services to complete. Now that we've gone through the forms, this is the additional supporting documentation you must submit along with your application. Supporting documentation includes a copy of your course schedule for the current term or semester, an acceptance letter to the college or university you're attending. You only need to do this one time unless you change colleges. A copy of your tribal enrollment card. This only needs to be submitted one time. Proof of a completed FAFSA. This should be completed yearly. And if you're a male ages 18 to 25, proof of registration with the Selective service. This only needs to be completed one time. Proof of a completed FAFSA. To acquire proof of your completed FAFSA, go to FAFSA.gov and log in using your FAFSA ID and password. Near the middle of the My FAFSA page, you will see a button that says View or Print Your Student Aid Report. Click that and print the page. A sample student aid report is displayed on the screen next to the text. A FAFSA is completed once a year. Proof of Selective Service Registration. If you're male, ages 18 to 25, you'll need to verify your registration with Selective Services. To register or verify registration with Selective Services, go to www.sss.gov. From there, you can select either Register or Verify Registration, then enter your information. This only needs to be completed one time. How do I submit my application? Applications can be submitted by the following methods: by mail, by email, or in person. A complete application includes both the application itself and all of the required supporting documentation. I have questions. If you have any questions or want to know more about the programs we offer, contact the Education Office at 715-793-4100. Or you can find out more information at the web address displayed on the screen. You can also make an appointment and come visit our facility in person.